Because a golf swing is rotational, losing rotation can create stress in very predictable places. Hey everyone, Michael here, and this is the first episode of my new series, Motion That Matters, where we're going to break down the key motions that your body needs to create a powerful, consistent, and safe golf swing. Now, before we get into it, I do want to be very, very clear. I am not a golf swing coach. Surprise! And that's not my lane, but I am a specialist in how the body moves and how it produces force and what happens when key motions are not available to your body. That's the world that I live in every single day. And over the last few years, I've had the privilege of working directly with one of the best junior golfers in the world, Asterisk Talley, alongside elite coach Mike Shy, who coached Bryson DeChambeau for years. A lot of golfers don't know that, as well as Bryson DeChambeau, there are players like Wyndham Clark and other high-level golfers that all use muscle activation techniques, or MAT, as part of their performance system. Not just for flexibility, but to restore motion, sequencing, power, and protect them to decrease their chance of getting hurt and having the same consistent swing throughout a tournament. This series, I'm not going to be teaching swing mechanics. I'm going to be showing you what your body has to be able to do so that your swing can function the way your coach wants it to, or that you want it to. And so today's topic is going to be spinal rotation, maybe the most important motion in the entire golf swing. So we're going to dive right into what that is and what it looks like in your golf swing. What does spinal rotation do? Essentially, we can think of it as our rib cage rotating around our pelvis. These muscles that attach to our spine and rib cage, mainly the abdominal ones, are really good at rotating your spine. Move your entire rib cage around your pelvis in relation to that. So this would be spinal rotation. This would be spinal rotation with all sorts of other kinds of rotation and motion. So in golf, there is going to be two big positions where this can influence a swing, where we see it. But in your backswing, your ability to rotate your spine in relation to your pelvis allows you to create more, stored energy, potential to generate power, being able to rotate with your spine, again, in relation to your pelvis in your backswing. And then in your follow-through, as it's rotating, it's going to allow you to have breaks, your abdominals. Again, anything that attaches to your spine can have potential to rotate you, but it can add the ability to break and stop all this force that you just generated, or else that force is going to get sent somewhere else, either down below, into your lower back, or you're going to have to get out of the swing potentially. So what does the spine do? It rotates you in relation to your pelvis. You see it in the backswing, which can store energy, and then in your follow-through to break and be able to protect the structure of your body and stop letting force go somewhere else in your body. Now to show you what limited spinal rotation looks like in the golf swing, I'm going to introduce our first golf swing coach. His name is Tristan Lee, and he used to coach on the Chinese national team. He runs an academy in China called Possible 18, where he develops junior golfers to get prepped to come to the U.S. and play in some of the best colleges that we have, universities here. And so he is somebody that has been doing this for a long time, specifically has done a lot of work with juniors, and he is going to walk through a quick breakdown of what can happen in a golf swing if you are limited in spinal rotation.
If you cannot rotate your spine in your backswing, you probably will stop here because limit spinal rotation. What you will do, normally you go that way, so you extend. You feel like you are still rotating, but actually you are stop rotation because you limit and you go that way. This is reverse spine angle. You will hurt your lower back. You will feel painful in the future. So in long run, you should have more rotation in your spine.
Performance consequences. What happens in your performance if you can't do this well? So when you lose the ability to rotate your spine efficiently, you lose the opportunity for power. Less separation means that there's less stored energy potential. And you'll also lose consistency because the path, face, and low point all depend on stable, controlled, consistent rotation. And you lose the scalability, meaning that at 60 to 70% tempo, you may look fine, but at full speed, the swing completely falls apart or falls apart a decent amount. And this is why so many players may feel that they do well on the range, but then struggle on the course. Because when you ramp up what you're trying to do and you are limited in your spinal rotation, your body is going to compensate even more when you're trying to generate more force. Injury risk, where the stress goes. Because a golf swing is rotational, losing rotation can create stress in very predictable places. One of them will be the lumbar spine, your lower back, which starts to have to twist more and extend that arching motion under load. And you can also have stress get put into your lead hip, which is going to have to play a bigger role in decelerating the rotation, slowing it down because the spine can't. Your lead shoulder in your swing, which can take on too much workload, again, if your spine struggles to rotate. And then also your neck can try to do more, may take on more stress because the rotation in your thoracic spine, the upper part of your spine, can't or is struggling to do so. So if you've ever had, a mystery low back tightness or lead hip pain, this might be one of the reasons why. From a MAT perspective, muscle activation techniques, limited spinal rotation is usually not about tightness. Well, it is, but the tightness is usually pointing to certain muscles involved in spinal rotation that can't contract well in their shortened position, their end range in the shortened position. And an MAT treatment can immediately unlock more rotation, more stability, and better sequencing by restoring the nervous system's trust in the motion. It's able to, in that time, activate and improve the brain's ability to communicate with the muscles in that position where they couldn't do it well. So my job is simple. I identify which muscles aren't producing force or producing force well in the positions that they're struggling to do so. And then number two, I restore their contractile ability, their ability to do their one job, contract. And the better muscles contract, the more stability and strength you have. And that will help to reinforce that new motion, which is number three. And number four is I send you back to your coach with a body that can actually do what they're asking, or at least getting close to that. And so muscle activation techniques, MAT, is where the biggest breakthroughs happen with my clients who play golf. More motion, more power, more consistency, and more ability to tolerate forces so that they can continue to do what they do well without, or at least with a lot less chance of their body breaking down through their training or through a tournament or a round. Where isometrics fit in, or where they can fit in. So if you do not have a MAT practitioner near you, or if you are currently working with them, isometrics are incredibly helpful as a reinforcement tool to things you've done with your MAT practitioner, but also give you an opportunity to start communicating with muscles, improving muscles' ability to contract. If you don't have a practitioner, it's kind of like resetting your computer if you don't have an MAT practitioner doing these isometrics, versus if you do have a practitioner, it's kind of like rebuilding the computer. So it's just lower baseline, runs faster, but it's better to do something, and this can be still very helpful. So these isometrics will help you to reconnect the motion with your nervous system and help you to build the stability in the ranges your swing depends on, and help you keep the gains that you get from MAT if you're seeing a practitioner. So I want to give you a simple isometric that you can try right now and start connecting to your spinal rotation. So watch this video and you can practice, do it on your own. I would recommend doing maybe a very light squeeze of maybe 10 to 20% of as hard as you could go. And you're going to hold that squeeze, those muscles, for about 10 seconds. And you can repeat that a few times on each side. It should be very light, but also very precise and focus on what we're trying to do. So give those a shot and notice how your range of motion starts to open up a little bit on your own because of improved strength.
For seated trunk rotation, we're going to be utilizing a chair, something with a firm back that's close-ish to 90 degrees. You're going to have your back up against the back of that chair. And we're going to be starting out with a somewhat tall spine, but we're not trying to stay overly extended, just somewhere comfortable that you can maintain. Sam is going to put his hands comfortably across his chest. And we're going to be focused on abdominals on both sides. And so what we want you to focus on is creating a squeeze, creating some engagement right here. And then we want you to envision that there is a rod going directly down your spine, and you have to twist directly around that rod, as Sam is doing. And he's just maintaining that contraction as he rotates one shoulder back into that backrest. And then he can relax out of it. We'll try it again. He's thinking about that rod going down his spine. And as he's turning into the back of that chair, he's feeling that tension build up, not letting it go. Good, and relax. Common mistakes you're going to see. One, trying to overly extend, maybe even pulling yourself off the backrest. And as you're turning, you have nothing to turn into. You're going to be working too many things. Another one is as he starts to turn, he's going to come off the chair. And now he's going off axis, if you will. And he's not actually rotating. He's rotating, doing other things. So we're going to show you another good one. He's going to brace, create tension, just lightly twisting, feeling that tension build up in his abs on both sides.
If you're interested in seeing an MAT practitioner and you're here in the Central Valley of California, you can reach out to me and we can set something up to see if it would be a good fit for you. If you are elsewhere in the US or the world, you can go to Muscle Activation Technique, or just actually muscleactivation.com, and they have the locations of all their practitioners. If you are wanting to get started right now without seeing an MAT practitioner, you can also reach out to me, and we have a library of all sorts of exercise videos that are similar to this that can help you continue to improve your motion and stability and strength doing isometric exercises and other types of exercises. So you can reach out to me, find a practitioner, whatever your heart desires, but these are good tools to help improve your ability to swing more efficiently, effectively, and easier.